Imagine a world in which Ippo would not be retired and still boxing if he won against Ricardo, becoming the WBA featherweight champion. In this version of the story, Itagaki, who already sees Ippo as the senpai, also climbs up the ranks of his boxing career, getting higher and higher, becoming the Japanese featherweight champion. With him starting to take on the world stage, there's one problem. Even though he sees Ippo as a senpai, each passing day he thinks to himself, can I beat him? Can I reach that level? He relinquishes his title and becomes the world number 2. He finally feels like he can reach Ippo, he can beat him. But then out of nowhere comes an American boxer and snatches the belt of Ippo, taking away Itagaki's chance to fight Ippo for the title. Itagaki and the reader would be pissed off by that American boxer. We were alongside Itagaki, rooting for him, seeing him improve. Maybe we were not convinced he would win, but we knew that it would have been an awesome fight. But that will never happen. Why? Because of that American boxer who stole it from Itagaki. Now this is a completely hypothetical scenario, and you might wonder why I make a scenario about Itagaki when the video is about Takamura versus Richard Bison. Richard Bison, also known as Motor City Bison, a boxer born in Detroit, living between rich and poor. He started boxing to defend himself, slowly realizing there was no one he could not beat. He was unstoppable, relentless, he was a prodigy, just like Itagaki. Until one day he faced off against David Eagle, the man who beat him not once but twice. He looked up to him, trying to reach the eagle, only for it to be taken by none other than Takamura Mamoru. Now Bison wants revenge. He wants to take everything that Takamura took back, because in his eyes Takamura is nothing but a petty thief. I created that scenario to give a better understanding of Richard Bison, who seemed like a petty man but deep down had his reasons for it. Takamura Mamoru is a member of Kamogawa's gym. By Japanese standards, he is already a legend, conquering 2 weight classes and now starting a unification match to combine his title as the WBC middleweight champion with the WBA middleweight champion title, which is currently owned by Richard Bison. The unification match being a first in Japanese history if he wins. He is determined to conquer all 6 weight classes, to make the man proud who took him off the streets and brought him to a place where he belongs. Both fighters, having their own reasons, came to the ring determined to win. And with the first gong starts a historic match between Takamura Mamoru and Richard Bison. Right after making contact, Bison jumps back, lowering his guard, only to raise his right arm and start to swing his left one. Richard Bison, the unofficial successor of Thomas Hearns called Motor City Bison, uses a form of the famously termed hitman style, used also by Mashiba. Takamura, never having fought something like this, does what Takamura does best, walking into his opponent without any guard, looking badass. Takamura sees these flickers like flies that he wants to swat away, starting to parry each hit and getting closer. At some point Takamura can't get any closer because of the sheer power behind those flickers. Takamura tries repeatedly, only to fail. After having failed to hit anything, the first round ends. The coach, clearly stressed, points out the problem that Takamura cannot get past these flickers. Neither Takamura nor the coach can find any solution, only for Takamura to desperately ask what he is supposed to do. The coach answered to ask Bison. Ask Bison? Takamura would never. That is something Takamura would never do, because he is a genius who can do everything, and he believes that truly. The second round begins, and as predicted, Takamura gets nowhere, being confused on how to deal with these flickers. Stressed out, he tries to think of a strategy, and he remembers the words of his coach. Takamura then lowers his guard, only to lift his right arm and swing his left. Yes, the man who never once in his life used any type of hitman style, now imitating a WBA world champion in a unification match, using it against someone whose title represents that style of boxing. Not only that, he starts to beat the shit out of Bison. I really want to drive this point home, because it is crazy. Imagine any profession where there are 2 people who are incredibly skilled at that profession, both having their own incredible unique styles, yet both being the best of the best. And one day, one of them within minutes not only imitates the other one's style, but he also does it to such a degree that one could imagine him already having trained it for years. Just fucking crazy. Now both being in a standoff, using the flickers, neither really getting the advantage, one would think, but slowly we see Takamura start to lose out. Takamura uses an incredible force with these flickers, as if he would swing a mace. That in turn becomes incredibly hard to pull back. Bison starts to land more and more hits. Takamura falls back to the ropes. Now comes one of my favorite moments in the fight. When Takamura got pushed back to the ropes, he asks his friends, what does everybody know Takamura Mamoru can do? Aoki answers first with be a dick as a joke, only for Takamura to say after the match is over, you're dead meat. This happens again, only this time Kimura answers. He can win, yet still he will be dead meat. Both clearly stressed because Takamura can beat both of them easily. He rushes back in, only to get hit repeatedly by those flickers. After a few seconds realizing just power will not be enough, he lets loose of his grip to gain incredible speed, yet still hitting hard. Bison, being in the position of Takamura a few seconds ago, cannot do anything about it. So he puts up his guards. Takamura unleashes an onslaught of flickers. After a few seconds, Bison uses a counter against it, batting his forearm away, leaving him completely exposed for a right, and with that explosive right ends the second round. The coach explains it to him while Takamura is resting. Takamura gets excited and screams again, what does everyone know Takamura can do? This time Ippo answers, do your best. Takamura liked this answer and rushes forward. Even the coach said, good choice of words. But there's more to that, I believe. Ippo and Takamura are by far the best boxers Kamogawa ever trained. Both have massive potentials and tremendous dedication. Before this unification match, Ippo had his match against Gonzalez, where he lost. It pains me to say it like this, but he lost miserably. This fight was commentated live by Takamura. For a long time, Takamura was the only hope for Kamogawa's gym. Yes, we are ignoring Miyata, don't hate me. The man aiming for the world and being able to reach it. He was picked off the streets by Kamogawa because he saw potential in him. Ever since, Takamura has been grateful for him. Because of that, Takamura always felt a burden, an obligation to bring the coach glory. That is why he wants to take on all 6 weight classes, to make the man who brought him to a place where he belongs proud. And then Ippo showed up, slowly rising the ranks and starting to reach for the world. That now is completely my own opinion, but I truly believe, Takamura was almost relieved that there was another person who could make the coach proud. Someone else beside him who can take on the world. It gave him solace to know whatever happens, Ippo will always be there, ready to fix his mistakes. A proper boy who is kind and friendly but hardworking, which the coach liked. But then Ippo lost. The face he saw his coach make, being engraved in his mind, never wanting to see the coach in that much pain ever again. So Ippo losing crushed all that trust he had, realizing he must be the one to do it. Ippo saying do your best reminds him that he cannot lose no matter what, because Takamura Mamoru cannot do everything. He must. Takamura rushes back and Bison does what Bison does best and goes back to using his flickers. He corners Takamura for him to put his guard up. He slowly opens his guard only to ask Bison, do you know what Takamura Mamoru can do? In that moment, while Bison does his flicker, he himself understands that he underestimated what kind of monster really is in front of him. Takamura bats Bison's left forearm, leaving him open, and with a push from the corner, a right hook that I can only describe as devastating lands. Sadly, Bison twisted his neck a little before impact to reduce the damage, although he still feels the pain. The round ends both being damaged badly already, yet both cannot wait to get it started. And there's the 4th round. Bison now unable to use his flickers, his mind and body remembering the consequences of using it against a man who can do everything. Takamura finally having enough taunts Bison to an infight, brawling it out right here, right now, in the middle. Bison accepts the challenge and rushes in, both in the middle, exchanging blows, neither hitting the enemy. You can feel the tension, one mistake of either, and it is decided. Bison trying to read Takamura and Takamura trying to bait Bison, exchange blows, Bison landing a hook and Takamura landing a brutal left uppercut. Bison's hit was incredible and even Takamura acknowledges it, but no matter what Bison does, Takamura does best, because Takamura can do everything. He is the million-point man. The round ends and both are clearly damaged. Takamura's right leg is about to give up. Takamura sits down and gets a leg massage. Bison, on the other hand, does not understand what happened. How can such a monster exist? About to give up, he realizes that if he does not stop Takamura right now, he will be a threat to his homeland, a threat to America, the place which gave him support. So he gets the courage to stand up again and fight. Not fighting for his petty thought of Takamura being a thief, but he is fighting to protect his homeland. The 5th round starts and Bison rushes in, unable to hit Takamura, who dodges each hit, waiting for that one moment to knock out Bison and finish this match. Takamura sees his chance and throws a sharp left. Bison, being completely out of options and hopeless, uses a terrible punch. A huge left swing with a lot of momentum. Something so telegraphed even a rookie could read and counter, let alone someone who is as skilled as Takamura. So the end is in sight and it lands. Takamura almost passed out after receiving that hit. Not even Bison understands why that kind of punch hit, but he cannot let the chance fade away, so he rushes in. Takamura, parrying everything and blocking Bison again out of options, throws a big left swing. It hits repeatedly. Takamura was unable to dodge it, not because he could not see, but because he could not move. His leg is damaged badly to the point where he cannot use his leg properly anymore, tanking the hit while his leg absorbs the damage. The 5th round ends and Takamura is in a lot of pain while Bison sees a chance. The 6th round begins and Bison understands that Takamura's leg is about to give up, rushes in using this opportunity. Takamura lands a few hits, but without his leg there is just not enough power behind them. So Bison gets in, body blow after body blow, tearing Takamura apart. Getting hit by all those big left swings, Takamura is getting cornered. Bison's relentless onslaught of attacks, taking a toll on Takamura's body. Finally, Takamura blocks a left swing, only for it to bust his eardrums. Takamura is extremely weakened, his legs giving up, his eardrums busted, and his vision starting to get blurry. The coach starts to fear the worst, every member of Kamogawa's gym screaming for Takamura to win. From the corner of his eyes, Takamura sees the coach. He sees the face he makes, the same face he made when Ippo lost, and realizes that not only Ippo, but he is starting to be the reason for it. It is his fault, trying to fight back. He just cannot land any proper hits, while Bison is relentless. Kamogawa thinks Takamura is at his ends. Takamura, who came to this match with no sparring experience, was out of options. Not the fault of the boxer who performed incredibly, but the trainer who could not prepare him properly enough. Accepting that there is no way to win, he throws the towel. But out of nowhere, Ippo jumps and catches the towel out of the air. Everyone is screaming for Takamura to win and not lose hope. Takamura cannot hear any of them, until Ippo screams out to him, mad at Ippo because he is the reason Takamura must make up for Ippo's mistake. As Bison takes a big left swing and everyone thinking it is the end for Takamura, does Takamura realize that there is one thing left he has, the thing that Ippo does not have. Takamura pivots all of his weight on his left big toe, gaining an incredible amount of momentum and punching Bison's left swing away. Bison, relentless, throwing a right to end Takamura right here, right now, putting all his weight on his big toe again. Takamura swinging a right. He hits Bison in the face, Bison plummeting to the corner, almost passing out, but Bison cannot stop now, getting back up, not wanting to let Takamura escape. Bison fails to understand, Takamura never even thought about escaping. Takamura using all his might left within him, putting it all on this one punch. He starts to put all his weight again on his big left toe and Bison falls down, Takamura becoming the WBA and WBC World Champion. This is my most liked fight in the whole manga currently. It is, if I had one word to describe it, I guess it would be, it is just fucking cool. The whole fight, from beginning of the arc to the end, it is a spectacle to be seen. There is something special about Bison, who had his rival, David Eagle, who he wanted to beat after losing 2 times, reminding me of Ippo and Miyata. getting his prize stolen by some foreigner who he thinks was just lucky. And Takamura being in a rush to conquer all 6 weight classes, who just wants this to end so he can keep taking belts and fixing the mistake made by Ippo. One could ask, why in that rush? And Ippo said it himself best. In how many years can you still box? And in how many of these years where you can still box, how many matches can you fight? So even though it seems that he is in such a rush, conquering 6 weight classes is something one can only rush because time is against one. The timing of the fight is also kind of perfect. Takamura conquering the world and Ippo starting to lose grip of it. It shows Ippo what he lacks and needs to improve. It is as if he saw that just being determined and being strong isn't enough anymore. There is something else, something unhuman about that level. You need to be more than determined, more than strong. The option of losing shouldn't even be an option, because if it is, then it will happen. I cannot forget the most important part, Takamura being a fucking beast. I mean, he went into this fight with no sparring experience because Kamogawa could not find any sparring partners. Especially in Japan at that time, there are not many good sparring partners, and flying out sparring partners is costly. So he goes into this fight, goes in, imitates and even outright beats the man famous for his hitman style with his own hitman style, forcing him to counter his own style and giving Takamura the information how to counter it, only for him in the next round to execute that counter on Bison perfectly and even in the odds. Bison unable to use the flickers, giving into the taunts of Takamura and slugging it out. Takamura getting cornered and starting to lose hope, only for Ippo to shout out to him, reminding him what Ippo lacks that he possesses. And to be clear, the big toe is a big part of Hajime no Ippo. It is crucial actually for boxers like Sendo, for boxers like Ippo, Takamura. Actually, to be honest, I don't know what kind of boxer Takamura is. My man can do everything. But these infighters, the big toe is essential because it gives you so much strength and grip where you can just stay on the ground and punch and punch and keep punching, reminding him what Ippo lacks. And seeing Ippo watching the match, realizing it himself, it's just cool. And this last moment of Takamura putting all that weight onto his left big toe, cracking his toenail, was simply perfect. You could feel the impact of the punch just by seeing it. And there he laid down, while Takamura stood tall with both belts on his shoulders. Hey guys, thanks for watching. This is one of my first videos ever. I really enjoyed making it, and I wanted to just talk about this fight and this anime/manga because I fucking love it, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. If you have any comments, suggestions, if you didn't like something, if you liked something, leave a comment, tell me about it. If you liked it, maybe a like, a subscribe would be highly appreciated. If not, then that's it. But yeah, just thanks for watching.